Hey, I'm Tashaka Armstrong. Welcome to another episode of Tech for the Rest of Us. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the second generation of one of my favorite fitness bands, the Microsoft Band 2. Just like the first one, they've thrown everything, including the kitchen sink, into this band. I mean, it has quite a few sensors built into it. We're going to take a look at the sensors. We're going to take a look at the app. We're going to take a look at what makes this such a strong competitor in the field of fitness trackers. Let's check it out. So this is the Microsoft Band 2. Where this differs greatly from the Band 1 is its curved display. So on the Band 1, you had this kind of blocky, chunky display that, quite frankly, didn't fit the contours of your wrist very well. Even though that Band 1 was a pretty awesome device with a ton of sensors built in, and in terms of comfort, it wasn't the most comfortable fitness band on the market. You can tell Microsoft definitely listened to feedback from users when they designed the Microsoft Band 2, because I have to say, to date, this is probably one of the most comfortable fitness trackers that I have worn on my wrist. Sleeping with this thing is like nothing, and it's so slim up top here that it really just does not feel like you're wearing anything after a period of time, and especially at night when you're sleeping. So what do you get with this fitness band, with the Microsoft Band 2? Well, you have two buttons here up front, the power button, this also sleep-wake button for the screen, and the action button. We'll get into what that does here in a second. You also have your sensors here at the bottom. This is your galvanic skin response sensor. This basically lets the watch know that you're wearing it. It also measures kind of sweat going on there. On the top, you have a UV sensor. So that is the clasp there also, but you have this UV sensor there as well. On the bottom, on the back side of the display of the band here, you actually have the heart rate sensor, the heart rate monitor. With anything that has the photo cells, photoreceptors on the bottom, which is often referred to, well, in medical terms as PPG, which is also referred to as photoplasmography, these sensors, one of the issues you're going to find is that they're not as accurate as the old chest strap monitors. So that's just something you have to keep in mind when you're using any of these smartwatch, any of the fitness watches that use the photo receptors on the bottom to actually track and monitor heart rate. But they've gotten a lot better, and they do a great job of tracking information. One of the things that you'll have to be mindful of when you're wearing the Microsoft Band 2 is whether you're going to wear this with the display on top of your wrist or with the display on the bottom. What the issue has been is that the Microsoft Band 2 uses a technology which essentially flashes light through your skin and sees your blood pulsing through your veins or capillaries, depending on how you're wearing it. With the debate about how well this works, there's been lively discussion on some forums. There's been lively discussion on some forums about the difference between the kind of activity you're engaged in and whether to wear the watch so that the sensor's on top or bottom of your wrist. The light sensor in the band, after some testing, seems to do better when the display is worn on the inside of the wrist for workouts that you wouldn't describe as aerobically intensive. So weightlifting, Pilates, yoga, these kinds of activities will be tracked most accurately by wearing it in that manner. Wearing the display on the outside of your wrist will net you the most accurate results for high-intensity workouts like CrossFit, cycling, interval training. One thing I really like about the Band 2 is the fit here. You have this little slide track here so that when you clasp the band here, you actually can pinch the buttons here and slide it along the track on your arm. So it really works to give you just the best custom fit possible as you adjust it up and down the length of that track. And once you get it adjusted, the fit is very secure. It isn't going anywhere. So that is basically, that is the band. That's all the sensors around the band. They move the galvanic skin response sensor and the batteries to different places than the Band 1. So you have all this down here at the bottom instead of where the Band 1, where you actually had it on the sides of the Band 1. And on the Band 1, the heart rate monitor was on the bottom here as well, where now you have the galvanic response and the other items, the other sensors and functions that have been moved down to that area. So let's get into the interface of the Band 2. So here you have the primary display of the Band 2. As you can see, it's brightly colored. If you slide over to the left, you can see the actual quick view of the Bluetooth, the heart rate monitor, the battery life. You can see whether, again, the heart rate monitor is tracking, whether it's connected via Bluetooth, and the battery information. By pushing the go button, when you're at the primary screen, you can change which information is displayed. So you can have the date, you can have how much you've walked for the day in mileage, you can have how many calories you burned up to that point in the day displayed, how many flights of stairs you've moved, tracks that information via the barometer that's also built into the watch, and your current heart rate. So I just keep it on steps, kind of using the pedometer functions. So that's what you get from the main screen. You can also tap that information and it'll take you through all of those little bits one at a time if you so desire. And then the way you'd get back is you see the little arrow here on the left. You always tap that arrow. You'll find that in all the different apps and interfaces on the Band 2. That gets you back to the previous screen. So the Microsoft Band 2 works like the Band 1 in that it uses tiles for the interface. So you can put as many tiles, or you can put up to 15 tiles on there, I believe, and have apps activated that way directly from the band. So you can check your text messages, notifications, sleep, email, phone calls, calendar. These are your guided workouts. Here are your alarms, the UV meter for the day, your runs, and you can go into the settings down here, and this is where you turn on or off alarms for do not disturb. This right here, the little snail, that's where you can set your activity reminder. I have it turned on. And then you can set it at different intervals where the watch will actually let you know that you've been inactive for the amount of time that you set it for, and it'll buzz you to say, hey, get up, you lazy man. Get up, go for a walk, do something like that. So you can set when it notifies you. I have it set to every day, but you can also just put it to weekdays, weekends, whatever the case may be, whatever works for you, and customize it that way. And once you're in the settings menu, you can also go into the other settings menu, which will control, you can control the brightness of the screen. So you can, I have it set to medium, you can put it on brighter, or set it to auto, which, as you know or might be familiar with, that'll just dim it based on the ambient light in whichever room you're in. You can set how intense the vibrations of the band are for its alerts. You can choose the language in those settings and choose the read speed. This device will put your notifications on the screen for you and scroll through them automatically, kind of like a crawl, like a news crawl or stock crawl. You can see how to use the keyboard. There's a tutorial there, and turn heart rate on and off. So that's where you can go in all the settings. And info just shows you information about the band, its pairing, its firmware, serial number, all of that information. Now, going into the app is where you can actually go in and change which tiles are on the device, which tiles are not. The sleep functions I really like. You manually turn on the sleep. But one of the other things I really like about this is the smart alarm. You can set the smart alarm so that the watch recognizes when you're in deep sleep and when you aren't in deep sleep. So you can set the watch so that it will know when you're in light sleep and set it for up to 30 minutes prior to your wake-up time. And if it recognizes that you're in light sleep, it'll wake you up then. So let's say your wake-up time is 5 a.m. You get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But at 4:45, you're actually in a light sleep phase. The alarm will go off and wake you up at 4:45 because science says that when you wake up during the light sleep phase, you're actually going to have a better awakening as opposed to waking up with an alarm during the deep or REM sleep cycle. When you wake up during the deep or REM sleep cycle, you're actually going to wake up groggier. You're going to wake up feeling kind of tired. But when you wake up during your light sleep phase, you'll actually wake up and be more attentive, less groggy, less foggy, and you'll just have a better overall waking up in the morning. And I've actually found that to be true. When I set that smart alarm, Now, it could be placebo, but I've really found that I do feel better waking up using the smart alarm function on this watch. It really is effective, or appears to be effective in the absence of any empirical study on my part. So you'll just have to take my word for it on that one. So that's the sleep tracking, really nice. So we've looked at the watch and the tiles, and that's pretty much what you're going to get out of that. Also, if you have the Starbucks app on here, which I don't have loaded at the moment, if you tap on the Starbucks tile, it'll pull up a barcode that allows you to use the watch to pay for your Starbucks. So this is the Microsoft Health app. This is the dashboard. This is where you're going to see everything at a glance. You can see the steps you've taken. You can see how complete your steps are for the day. So I've reached 63% of my goal, 55% completion of the amount of calories I wanted to burn for the day. The last time I tracked my sleep with this band on, January 29th, you can see I slept for 7 hours and 40 minutes. That was a good night, apparently. You can see the last time I went for a little walk, a little exercise, burned 340 calories, did 1.66 miles on my last walk as well. You can connect this with a scale, and you can track your weight, or you can add that manually there, and see that information on from the dashboard from the home screen as well. If you go into the actual hamburger menu, you'll see you have all these options here: home, history, profile. You'll see you have all these options here: home, history, profile. You can add guided workouts. You can find a golf course, and you can actually do some pretty cool things with that. You can go into what's new and see what's been added to the band since the last software update. You can go look for apps. You can see the device settings, the device itself, and that's where you're going to go into and be able to personalize your band, to be able to add or take away tiles from the band, tiles that you're going to have actually directly on the band. And then you have your preferences, signing out of the app and all that stuff. So let's go through these briefly, one at a time. Again, home is where we were at on the main screen. Really, like I said, everything here is pretty self-explanatory. You can tap on your steps, see your steps for the day. This has a barometer, so you can see the amount of floors you've climbed, your UV exposure, all that information, as well as see all your information for the last, infinite scrolling days that you've done. You can also see it at a week's glance. So that is that tile. So that's basically what you get with all the information at the home screen. You tap and you get a deep dive. Sleep is very cool. It's easy to read. You can see when you went to sleep, when you woke up. I do this manually, but it also has a function that allows you to automatically track your sleep. So it will automatically know when you went to sleep and automatically know when you woke up. So you can see on this night, I had 2 hours and 43 minutes worth of restful sleep or deep sleep, 4 hours and 57 minutes worth of light sleep. Apparently I woke up or tossed and turned about 9 times. Took me about 8 minutes to fall asleep. And it shows me the total duration, even my resting heart rate and the calories burned, along with sleep restoration. Was it good, bad, ugly? In this case, I guess it was good. You can also tap on the heart rate here, and it'll show you your heart rate through the whole evening while you were sleeping. So my heart rate that evening averaged about 51 beats. You can see right here there was a big spike. I don't know what happened. Maybe I got up, went to the restroom. I don't know. Or sometimes these watches, because they record your heart rate at certain intervals, maybe there was a spike or it disconnected. I don't know exactly what that anomaly was that night, but those might be some reasons for it. So going back, we just went through the home screen. You can see your history. That is what it sounds like. You see your history of your exercises, the various data that it records. You can go into your profile. That's where you set up your height, weight, that information, so it has a better, it's better able to track the amount of calories you're burning. Finding a workout. This is where you can go in and find different workouts, guided workouts to use with the band. So you can go in and look by type, which is one way. So if you want to strength condition, lose weight, go for running, biking, golfing, you can use any of those. And you see when you go into strength, they've worked with Gold's Gym. They've worked with quite a few people here to actually bring you some really cool workouts. We have CrossFit workouts. You can see this is one of the named CrossFit workouts. Grace, Elizabeth, CrossFit workouts of the day have usually a name associated with them, and that's how you know which workout you're doing for CrossFit. They also have Tabata workouts, some pretty cool stuff. Simple upper body strength workout, quick chest training. Fran, Nancy, those are also CrossFit workouts. So they have all those there, and once you tap one, once you decide you want to do one, you'll load it up. It'll tell you what it is, how long it is, which body parts are worked, and how hard it is. So then you can add that to your band, and then when you go to actually do the workout, it'll load that information up, and it'll take you through that workout. And again, this band has an accelerometer, barometer, and all that, so it knows when you're moving up and down. It knows the different motions you're making, so it's able to record and take that information that way. So it's pretty cool, pretty neat stuff. So let's go back, find a course. That again is your golf courses. That's pretty cool. I personally have not used that, so I can't really speak on that. But the information for it actually looks pretty interesting. So let's get into the tiles, because that's really how you're going to interact with the Microsoft Band 2 in terms of what data it's going to show, because not only is it a fitness tracker, but it's a smart band, a smart watch. So you're going to be able to get your text messages, your email, calls, calendar. You can have a tile for when you go running, when you go biking, when you go golfing, your exercises, sleep, your alarms, guided workouts, weather, finances, so it'll show you stock information, your UV information. There's that Starbucks card I was telling you about. You can have information from Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Twitter, and the Notification Center. The Notification Center is every other app that is not in any of the apps I just showed you. So all the other apps that are on your phone, you can turn on from this Notification Center. So those notifications will show up on your band. Very cool functionality. Allows you to customize and get everything you want to see information or data from on the band. Now, when you go into rearrange tiles, that's going to allow you to organize where the tiles fall on the band. So whichever ones you're going to use the most frequently, you know, whether it's just seeing your text messages and reading them on the band, all that information, you'll be able to organize that by tile right there from that menu. So that's the tile interface. You can also add more tiles by going into the tile gallery and see if there's anything else, anything new you want to add there. Also, when you go into personalize your band, here's where you can change the color of the screen, the wallpapers on the band. So you've got 10 wallpapers here that you can choose from. You cannot upload your own wallpapers on here. You can also choose which colors, complementary colors you're using on the band face itself. One of the things that I think makes this band really powerful for me is the ability to use and connect the Microsoft Health app with partner apps. In this case, the app that I use the most for my health, my fitness, my dietary needs is the MyFitnessPal app. So right here where you see I've exercised and burned 340 calories, you can go in and connect this information with MyFitnessPal. So when you're burning calories, let's say I had this exercise here this day when I burned 1,600 calories. That was one of my HIIT workouts, one of my high intensity workouts. I was doing squats and doing some other things that were taxing me pretty well there. Let's go into MyFitnessPal. So it will actually go in and add that exercise expenditure to your total calories for the day. So as you can see here on Saturday, I worked out and burned about 559 calories. It added that to my total expenditures for the day. And so my goal was to eat under 1,980 calories. I did 1,828 calories for the day, but I also exercised 559, leaving my net calories at 711. So you'll find that in the MyFitnessPal at the bottom here, where it'll say general exercise, 559 calories. It'll also say your Microsoft Health band. So let's see, when it syncs up, you'll see it says the Microsoft Health calorie adjustment here. So that lets you know that it's synced up information from the Microsoft Band and or the Microsoft Health app, and added that to your expenditure for the day, your caloric expenditure. So the reason why I like this so much, I've found it to be very consistent. It updates regularly. It adds the information regularly. I haven't had too many problems with it actually updating that information. Sometimes, every now and then, it's slow to update. So that's it. That's the Microsoft Band 2. I think it is still among the top picks for fitness bands, at least in my estimation. And I think if you're out shopping and looking at its competitors, which it does have some stiff competition, you're going to find probably that it's going to wind up in your top 3, top 5 picks of bands that you're considering if you're considering purchasing a fitness-specific band or tracker. If this video has helped you make a decision, if it's informed you, if you've smiled, cried, I don't know, if it's evoked any emotions, go ahead, like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions about the Microsoft Band 2 that I didn't answer in the video, leave it in the comment below. I'll get to that as well. And as always, thank you for watching.